With Russians he is more free and easy, gives vent to his spleen, makes fun of them and of himself, but he does all this very agreeably, with an air of ease and civility. He holds Slavophil views. This is known to be regarded in the best society as très distingué. He reads nothing in Russian, but on his writing desk there stands a silver ashtray in the shape of a peasant's plaited shoe. He is much sought after by our Russian tourists. Matvey Ilyich Kolyazin, happening to be in temporary opposition, paid him a ceremonious visit on his way to a Bohemian watering place, and the local population, with whom, incidentally, he has little to do, treat him with an almost awestruck veneration. No one can so readily and quickly secure tickets for the court choir and the theater as the Herr Baron von Kirsanov. He does as much good as he can, he still causes some stir in the world, not for nothing was he once such a great social lion, but his life is a burden to him, a heavier burden than he himself suspects. One should look at him in the Russian church, when leaning against the wall on one side, he stands absorbed in thought without stirring for a long time, bitterly compressing his lips, then suddenly recollects himself and begins almost imperceptibly to cross himself. Madame Kukshina also settled abroad. She is now in Heidelberg, and is no longer studying natural history but has turned to architecture, in which, according to her own account, she has discovered new laws. As before, she associates with students, especially with young Russians studying physics and chemistry with whom Heidelberg is crowded, and who at first astonish the naive German professors by their sober outlook on things, but later on astound the same professors by their complete incapability and absolute laziness. In company with 2 or 3 such young chemistry students, who cannot distinguish oxygen from nitrogen, but are brimming over with destructive criticism and conceit, Sitnikov, together with the great Ilyasevich, also prepares to become a great man. He roams about in Petersburg, convinced that he is carrying on the task of Bazarov. There is a story that someone recently gave him a beating, but that he secured his revenge. In an obscure little article, hidden away in some obscure little periodical, he hinted that the man who had beaten him was a coward. He calls this irony. His father bullies him as before, while his wife regards him as a fool, and a literary man. There is a small village graveyard in one of the remote corners of Russia. Like almost all our graveyards, it has a melancholy look. The ditches surrounding it have long been overgrown, gray wooden crosses have fallen askew and rotted under their once painted gables, the gravestones are all out of position, just as if someone had pushed them from below. 2 or 3 bare trees hardly provide some meager shade, the sheep wander unchecked among the tombs, but among them is one grave untouched by human beings and not trampled on by any animal, only the birds perch on it and sing at daybreak. An iron railing surrounds it and 2 young fir trees have been planted there, one at each end. Yevgeny Bazarov is buried in this tomb. Often from the nearby village 2 frail old people come to visit it, a husband and wife. Supporting one another, they walk with heavy steps, they go up to the iron railing, fall on their knees and weep long and bitterly, and gaze intently at the silent stone under which their son lies buried. They exchange a few words, wipe away the dust from the stone or tidy up some branches of a fir tree, then start to pray again and cannot tear themselves away from that place where they seem to be nearer to their son, to their memories of him. Can it be that their prayers and their tears are fruitless? Can it be that love, sacred devoted love, is not all-powerful? Oh, no. However passionate, sinful or rebellious the heart hidden in the tomb, the flowers growing over it peep at us serenely with their innocent eyes. They tell us not only of eternal peace, of that great peace of indifferent nature, they tell us also of eternal reconciliation and of life without end.